Marcus Rashford has hit back at critics who have questioned his commitment to United. The England forward missed their FA Cup win over Newport days after he parted in a Northern Ireland nightclub. He's been speaking to the Players' Tribune, and this is what he had to say. If you ever question my commitment to United, that's when I have to speak up. It's like somebody questioning my entire identity and everything I stand for as a man. He says, I grew up here. I have played for this club since I was a boy. My family turned down life-changing money when I was a kid so I could wear this badge. Before we get your thoughts on it all, Cass, here's what one of your former teammates had to say on Marcus Rashford. And I'm talking Millwall friend Teddy Sheringham, of course, who won the treble with Manchester United. This is what he had to say on it.
On the subject of Marcus Rashford, I'm glad he's come out with something like that. People want to hear what he's got to say about it. Everybody's questioning his desire to play for Man United. I'm glad he's come out with that. Now I think he's got to step up on the pitch a little bit more and show the real desire and leadership qualities that's sadly missing at the moment for Man United.
Teddy makes a good point. Marcus Rashford has come in for a lot of stick, and he's finally decided, I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to prove to everybody in certain ways by saying I am committed to this club and I've been here for such a long time that I love it, basically.
Yeah.
But does he actually come in for too much stick in this United team?
Well, you're going to get stick if you're a highly paid footballer who doesn't play as well. The only thing I would say about that interview now, and I'm fine with a lot of it, I agree, it's good to hear him come out and speak about his desire to be at that football club. The only thing he didn't do, if he'd have gone down the road and said, look, I set high standard last year and I've fallen short, I think he needs to recognise and take ownership of saying he has fallen short, because that's factual. That's not a lie. We're not making things up. And I don't like going after people personally. I'd rather talk about what I see and what I've witnessed over the last, number of months in the Premier League. And Marcus has struggled for whatever reasons. He's been there before. He's struggled. And he says a lot of the right things. Unfortunately, and I'm coming from someone who's experienced this, that you can do very little by what you say. Words become empty until you cross that white line and show and perform to what fans expect of you. You're going to get stick. It's whether we like it or not, it's part and parcel of the game, Nat. And that's the one thing I'm not questioning him wanting to sign a new deal at Manchester United. And I'm sure, look, all kids get opportunities to, and I know he's not a kid now, he's 26 now, but people along the way, you get opportunities put in front of you that you could easily go, no, he's gone, I want to stay at this football club, I've signed a new deal. So I understand all of that. The trouble is when you play poorly, Nat, whatever your reasons are, nothing washes with fans. And sometimes even what happens in your personal life. I had some things that went on in my personal life. I believe it affected my performance on the pitch. It didn't matter one iota. Fans were not interested in that. They just cared about their team and how you performed and what is expected of you.
Yeah, I mean, he has said that the world has not seen the best of this United squad and these players. We want to be back playing in the Champions League. Then we have a massive international tournament, obviously talking about the Euros at the end of the season. He says we'll be back where we belong. We just have to keep working, and that starts with me. He sort of ended it by saying
That's
that.
great. Look, this is the lad that at 17 burst onto the scene, and just came in and was like a breath of fresh air. You go through troubles in your career. No, it's not all an up every week, month. It's not. There's downturns even for the very best. And it's a big day for Marcus because Højlund's injured. Marcus needs a big performance. And, if he gets that, the fans will be cheering him. They'll be clapping him, applauding him, everything, Nat. They will be. Because do you remember when Paul Pogba went to City at the Etihad and got a brace?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He was, before that game, he was getting a lot of criticism.
Vilified, yeah.
And the Monday morning, I remember coming in and doing radio that Monday and Tuesday of that week and talking about Pogba and the reaction to him. And because he delivered in a big game, in a big moment, it was like their hope of him being the player, which obviously panned out differently, but they'll they'll praise you, they'll hug you, they'll do everything to you when
embrace
things.
you, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Of course they will, yeah.
So you can't have one without the other, really, can you?
Yeah, and he holds his hands up and says, "Look, I've made mistakes." And look, that nightclub event in Belfast, where he then went on to miss training because for whatever reason he was unwell, it doesn't look good. It wasn't a great thing. I'm all for, by the way, players having fun, enjoying themselves when they don't need to work the next day, etc., etc. But when it impacts what you're doing, impacts your teammates, that's not on.
And do you know what? Football fans are forgiving as well.
Absolutely.
As much as they can be really critical,
yes,
and it can be brutal, it can be you've got your family in the stands and friends in your stand and you're hearing things. It can be the other way as well.
Well, it's a huge game then coming up, and they're going to a Manchester City side that, of course, are hot on the heels of Liverpool. Obviously, we mentioned already, Liverpool now 4 points clear at the top of the table after their victory over Nottingham Forest. When you think of this end of the season, and we're coming into that business end, and we always talk about City, they just somehow step it up when it comes to the second half of this season. We're seeing now this combination of Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne really coming to the fore right now. As a Liverpool fan, does that put a little bit of fear into you?
No, not a little bit, a lot. No, it does. I think anyone who recognises what they give to City, and it's a lot, that we've just seen this week, the passes and the finishes by Haaland. Their last defeat was December the 6th at Villa Park, I think. That was their last defeat.
Unbeaten in 18 in all competitions.
Yeah, there's a lot of W's there.
There is.
It's a machine that we know, and I knew all along, and I still think they are the ones to beat. Whether Liverpool keep winning, that they have to be the team that anyone finishes in front of them. I'll use the same line every time I speak about City now. Will win the league if they finish above City. It's going to be a difficult. We know that Man City are going to dominate the ball today. We know that, and it's how Man United find a way during the game where they can match them and still stay in the match and maybe nick it, because I think the only way you can beat City is really nicking it. Can you remember the last team that actually dominated City? Because I can't. I'd have to probably go back to Liverpool when they won 4-1 at the Anfield.
It just doesn't happen.
Just blew them away. No one blows City away. You have to have a set plan, and hopefully it works for you. You've done the double on them last year, but you've done it with a plan. You didn't do it where you blew them away. You just You had a plan and it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a. I'm really looking forward to this game, just to see more about Man United, because Man United have won 6 out of the last 7 games.
I know.
They've had some great away victories in there. Obviously Wolves 4-3, Forest, Luton. They've had some.
Yeah, that defeat at Fulham last time out was their first of 2024.
Yeah. So. Yeah. By the way, I want to ask you a question.
Go on, very quickly.
Can you remember who crossed the ball for the overhead kick for Rooney in the Manchester derby? Who made the cross?
Do you know the answer?
Yes, I do know the answer. Can you remember? Who crossed the ball to Rooney?
I wouldn't have a clue. Go on.
Nani.
There you go. My producer,
he got it, did he?
Will did say it in my ear, but I thought I'm not, because
well, it's always on the telly. When you see things.
I know, I wouldn't have remembered it. So it's a good refresher.
Yeah, you see it all the time, don't you? That goal, especially.
And what's the reason for bringing that up?
Well, because it was on this morning.
You saw it,
and I thought,
right.
I thought, we watch that goal and we see it a lot, but we actually forget the cross, which was a great cross.
Yeah, all right, I hear you.
Weekend Sports Breakfast with Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino. Sunday mornings from 6 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.